I do something and I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your big homie, the armchair operator, and today I got another versus video for y'all. So essentially what we're going to do today is that we are going to pit the venerable Sig Sauer M17 up against the newcomer on the block in the modular pistol game, the Springfield Armory Echelon. Now, the purpose of the versus series is to compare near-peer guns to one another in terms of shootability, form, fit, function, reliability, feature set, accessories, all of that. So that way you guys can get a good idea as to how the two guns stack up to one another. So that way it can help you in your decision-making process if you're looking to buy either one of these two guns or any of the other guns that are going to appear in the versus series. So but anyway, let's dive into it and let's take a look at the belligerents, I guess. Let's take a look at the competitors, y'all. All right, y'all, here we go. We have our two competitors right here before us. So on the left, we have the Sig Sauer M17, and on the right, we have the Springfield Armory Echelon. So let's take a look at the elder of the two, the Sig M17. So as you can see, the Sig M17 comes in a nice hard plastic case, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with who've ever had or seen a Sig firearm before. This is what we got. So let's open this guy up real quick. And here we have the M17. All right, so let's just touch on the feature set real quick. So first thing we're going to do, as always, we're going to do a quick clear check. As you can see, it is unloaded, magazine is empty, and the gun is safe. So here we are. We have 3-dot night sights at the top. We also have an optics cover plate, so this gun is cut for a red dot. We have a loaded chamber indicator right here on top of the barrel and slide. We have an external extractor here. Ambidextrous slide catch slide release. We have ambidextrous safety. We have our takedown lever here. Picatinny rail underneath. Standard curved trigger. And we have a metal magazine release. And, you know, we have 3 magazines. So just a quick caveat, this is the 10-round model, but the M17 comes with 3 magazines from the gate. The standard version comes with a 17-round and 2 21-round magazines. So for the purpose of this review, for this comparison, is to keep things simple. I am going to consider the standard version of the M17 when I'm doing my comparison, but just know that these are the neutered 10-round magazines. But either way, it comes with 3 magazines. So, and we have a 4.5-inch carbon steel barrel. It has an empty weight of 29.6 ounces. And of course, it has the modular design that the Sig P320/M17s, M18s, and so on and so forth are known for. And we have the front and rear slide serration. So this is what we have with the Sig M17 for, you know, as far as what it comes with, the feature set, and so on and so forth. Of course, it also comes with your obligatory, you know, trigger lock and so on and so forth. And, you know, nice sticker and, you know, some pamphlets and some grease and different things. So that's essentially what the M17 comes with. Now, moving over here to the Springfield Armory Echelon. Cardboard box. And underneath we have ourselves a nice range bag, which actually has the gun in it. So we're going to open that up. And, oh, good grief. I'm going to open that up. We're just going to sit that on top. And of course, we're going to do a clear check. As you can see, gun is empty. Magazine is empty. Both magazines are empty. The gun is clear. All right, so Moving down the specs really quickly of the Echelon, we have ourselves 3-dot night sights. Now remember, the Echelon comes in 2 flavors. We have the Tritium Glow front sight with the U-notch rear, and we have this particular model with the Tritium Glow front and the Tritium Glow in the rear. Okay, front and rear slide serrations. We have an optics cut, and they actually have a different optics mounting system than any other handgun out on the market today. It used a set of pin set adapters to change the footprint to accommodate whatever optic you wish to install. Let's see, we have Picatinny rail underneath, texture on the frame here with thumb ledges, texture on the takedown lever, texture up and down the entire length of the grip, which is really good. We have a trigger safety here. We have texture on the front of the trigger guard, a nice undercut with texture under the trigger guard, texture all around the grip, even texture back here. This gun comes with three back straps, small, medium, and large. The large one is on the gun. The other 2 back straps are under here. You have the small and the medium. Each back strap comes with a little mini punch tool. If you need to do, further disassembly of your firearm, you have little punch tools here. We have ourselves a magazine loader, and we have ourselves a cable lock. And here are the additional pin sets that I was referring to. Pin set 2 for the Delta Point Pro, and pin set 3 for the Shield RMS optics. And let's see, we also have, now this gun comes with 2 magazines, as you can see. Out of the box, you'll get a 20 rounder, and the other one will be a 17 rounder. It comes with a +3 extension to extend that magazine to 20 rounds. As you can see, the extension is installed on both magazines, so just know that that also counts as an accessory. But as you can see, this is the base plate that comes on the standard 17 round magazine. Oh, one quick note, you could use the punch tool here to aid in the removal of the base plate, in case you didn't already knew that. But anyway, now that we've laid out some of the features and accessories, let's go through the 2 really quickly. Starting with the M17. So, as you can see, we have the 3-dot night sights here, and we have the external safety. So this gun is basically largely ambidextrous. Slide catch, slide release, external frame mounted safety here. That's pretty much where the ambidextrous features end. Of course, you got your takedown lever over here, and we just have a standard magazine release here. One thing I will say, it does have front and rear slide serrations, but the front serrations, the serrations are good. They get the job done. But in comparison with the Echelon, as you can see, the Echelon you're not beating this. The Sig is just, it can't compete with these slide serrations. They're really deep. They're deep, but they're not aggressive for the hands. It really makes press checking very easy. So I definitely like that as far as the Echelon is concerned. About the sights, both guns have night sights, but the sights on the Echelon are easier to pick up, especially in the back, because you have more of a pronounced white in the back there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. I do like that the rear sight on the Sig is protected with these 2 pieces over here, so that's really good, and they're both metal. Now, couple things. The Sig is as you can see, the Sig doesn't have the texture that the Echelon has. So I would definitely have to give the Echelon the point as far as the texture goes. It has more of it, basically. It has that. So But anyway, just to kind of dovetail back to my earlier point, the optics plates. So anyway, the thing about the M17 is that it's only compatible with the Romeo Pro. If you want to mount a red dot, a different type of red dot other than the Romeo Pro, then you're going to have to source an aftermarket optics plate for the M17. And when you do that, if you can tell, the rear sight is part of the plate, so you're going to lose your rear sight. They do have aftermarket plates that have the rear sight built in, but just know when you take this guy off, this is a piece in itself, so you're going to lose that functionality. So definitely when it comes to the optics mounting system, the Echelon is winning as far as that goes, because you don't lose the rear sight when you want to install an optic. As you can see, that's the plate right there. You take the plate off, you install your adapters, you mount the optic to the slide, and you're done. So as far as features go, I have to give the point to the Echelon because, for one, as I was saying, it has better slide serrations, right? They're just more pronounced, easier to grasp. This gun is also ambidextrous slide catch, slide release, but this gun also has a fully ambidextrous magazine release, as well as a full length Picatinny rail. So now if you look at the M17, the rail is cut off right here. It doesn't have a full length dust cover and just has the 3 slots. And for most people, that's really not a big deal, but there are some lights where you really won't be able to mount it unless you have that additional section on the rail. With the Echelon, you don't have to worry about that. You got a full length dust cover Picatinny rail right here. So that's, you know, definitely helps to give the Echelon the point as far as that. The other thing is, we're going to talk about the barrel. So the M17 has I believe it has a stainless steel 4.7-inch barrel. The Echelon, on the other hand, has a 4.5-inch cold hammer forged barrel. And if anybody knows about, you know, cold hammer forged barrels, that they are durable and they last a long time. So I have to give the Echelon, you know, the point in that regard. It just has more features in the gun out of the box, in my opinion. So let's move on to accessories. So as you can see, the M17 comes with the 3 magazines. So the standard model comes with the 117 round and the 221 round magazines. And, you know, as far as other accessories goes, that's pretty much it. Other than maybe a trigger lock, you know, a little M17 patch, you know, a little bit of a clean lubricant protectant. Slip 2000, I believe this is. Formulated to Slip 2000. Yeah, so as far as accessories and the case, that's basically what the M17 comes with. As far as and I don't really count the magazines as an accessory per se, because that's its own category. But as far as the Springfield Echelon here, the Echelon frankly comes with more, because you have the 3 interchangeable back straps and you have the mag loader, which most people will probably never use, but they give it to you, so that's cool. Got a little range bag here, and it comes with the pin sets to mount your red dot optics onto them. So between the pin sets, between the additional back straps, and the +3 adapter for the magazine, simply put, I have to give the Echelon the point in terms of accessories. It just comes with more out of the box. So moving on to ammo capacity. Now here's where the SIG is going to gain some ground. So as I said, the standard version of the M17 comes with the two 21 rounds and a 117 round magazine. The Springfield Armory Echelon comes with only the two magazines, which one is a 17 rounder, but it can be converted to the 20 rounder, and the other one is 20 rounds from the gate. So either way you look at it, you have 59 shots for the M17, or 59 rounds for the M17 standard versus 40 rounds for the Springfield Armory Echelon. So it's just the numbers. By default, the M17 has a higher capacity because it has more magazines. Now, that being said, if you look at the 10 round compliant version, which this is, and if you were to compare that with an equivalent compliant version of the Springfield Echelon, again, the M17 wins the capacity battle because this comes with more magazines. So in that regard, I have to give the point for ammo capacity over to the Sig. So if we move on from there, let's talk a little bit about ergonomics. So ergonomics, as you can see, the M17, it's pretty plain from an ergonomic standpoint. You know, there really isn't a whole lot of texture on the standard grip module. Basically, you just have the texture around the grip right here. Sorry about that, y'all. My camera overheated, so I had to let it cool down. But as I was saying, the grip module for the M17 is pretty plain. We have a little bit of texture in front of the trigger guard and texture around the grip and the beaver tail. So that's pretty much it. You could kind of cheat a little bit and use the external safety as a means of gripping the gun and helping to control recoil. And you have a little bit of texture right here with the takedown lever, but that's pretty much it. Coming over here to the Echelon, as you can see, just has texture all over this thing. Like, you even got texture here on the back plate of the slide. Like, come on, this thing has just got texture everywhere. We got thumb legends on both sides of the frame, which are also textured. We have texture on the takedown lever here. We have texture the full length of the grip. I mean, texture on front of the trigger guard, under the trigger guard, even got texture on the front of the recoil spring. Like this is crazy. But ergonomically, I have to give the point to the Echelon. It just has a lot more going on, and you could tell when Springfield designed this, they had a lot of input put into it. Like, you just got texture for your support hand thumb here, like all over. Like, this thing is just, it just wins ergonomically speaking, hands down. So let's move on from there. The next category we're going to talk about is portability / concealability. So this is a two-part category. They pretty much kind of tie into the same thing. Now, really, in terms of portability, we're going to look at how easy it is to carry around, you know, as far as the overall, you know, weight of the gun. Now, in terms of portability, well, let's talk about the weight of the gun. So the empty weight of the Sig M17 is 29.6 ounces. The empty weight of the Springfield Echelon is 24.3 ounces. So clearly the Echelon is the lighter of the two. So in terms of simply carrying a gun around all day, you have to give the credit to the lighter gun. The Echelon is just a lighter firearm, so it gets a half a point for that. In terms of concealability, one isn't really a whole lot bigger or smaller than the other one. I mean, the Echelon has a slightly shorter barrel by maybe 0.2 of an inch. In terms of height, it might be, you know, a little bit smaller. The grip lengths are kind of similar, if I'm honest. So really, when it comes to concealability, it's pretty much a wash. They're full-size guns. Now, granted, some people do carry full-size guns, concealed carry full-size guns. I have done it myself, and I do it at times still. But, I mean, honestly, with an extended mag, you're not concealed carrying this thing in any comfortable manner with an extended mag, more than likely. Same thing with the M17. It's just not happening. So it's a wash in terms of concealability. Moving on from there, we're going to talk about shootability and reliability. This is another two-parter. So now this one is going to be a bit controversial, especially since we're talking about the Sig M17, the P320, which is, well, the M17 is part of the P320 platform. And anyone who knows anything about the P320 is that there's a controversy surrounding them discharging when you don't want them to. So that's why I say this is going to be controversial. Now, I haven't heard of or seen any reports of that happening with the M17 itself. So as far as the comparison goes, I'm just going to focus on the M17 and as far as how it's handled for me, since I've had it over the last couple of years, and compare it to the Echelon. So that's the only data and basis that I could go by as far as that. When it comes to reliability, both guns have been very reliable for me. I have over 1,000 rounds with the Springfield Echelon, and I have just under 1,000 rounds with the M17, but I haven't had any malfunctions or any issues or anything like that that will affect the reliability of either gun. So with that being said, I'm going to call that a wash. Now, I would not be surprised if someone in the comments at some later date or whatever start typing furiously about how the M7, the P320s fire on their own. There are plenty of reports of it happening, and there's lawsuits, blah, 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 blah. Again, like I said, I'm going by the M17, and I'm going with my M17, period. So I'm calling it a wash as far as reliability. Now, here's where things get interesting. Let's talk about the shootability portion of it. All right, y'all, we're here doing the range portion of the Versus series. I got my target out here. We're going to do 3 rounds, 10 shots each at 5, 7, and 10 yards. First up is the Sig M17. So for this portion right here, I'm going to put the camera on the target so that way y'all can see the results in real time. All right, we got 10 rounds loaded up, 115 grain mag pick. Now we're going to go to 7 yards. Ten more shots, middle target. Now we're going to go out to 10 yards. So this one might be a little hard for y'all to see, but hopefully the camera can pick it up. right, let's check the target. All right, so y'all see the results right here. 5, 7, and 10 yards. Pretty tight groupings overall. Ignore these two little flyers down there. All right, y'all, now we're going to do the Springfield Echelon. So just a quick caveat, I only have the 10-round magazines for the Sig. I have 3 of them. So we did 30 shots on the first target at 5, 7, and 10 yards. So we're going to do 30 shots again on the Echelon target at 5, 7, and 10 yards. So I got 2 mags loaded up, one filled with 20 rounds and one filled with 10. So just to let y'all know, one of them got 20 rounds in it. All right, so let's get to it. Point y'all to the target. First up, 10-round mag, 5 yards. All right, now we're gonna go to 7 yards. We're gonna do 10 in the middle one, and 10 in the last one. Alright, let's check the target. Alright, so I don't know if y'all can see that. Pretty tight, 5 yards. A little looser at the 7-yard mark, and much looser down there at the 10-yard mark. The one didn't even hit the target. So yeah, that 10-yard performance isn't the greatest.
Yeah, we're even right now.
Let's do another round. All right, y'all, we loaded up and ready to go again. Round 2, we're going to do the Sig M17. Just like the last time, we're going to put the target at 5, 7, and 10 yards respectively. Still shooting MagTech 115. Let's do it. First up, 5-yard target. Now we're going to 7 yards. Finally, 10 yards. All right, let's take a look at the target. All right, that's round 2. Pretty tight throughout for the most part. Little winding at the 10-yard, but still pretty consistent. All right, next up, Echelon. All right, Echelon round 2, same as last time. 30 shots, 10 at 5, 10 at 7, and 10 at 10 yards. Start at the top target, 5-yard mark. All right, let's look at the target. It's better at 5 yards, but 7 and 10, not the greatest. Granted, that's all me, not the gun itself, so just going to caveat that real quick. All right, now this is just for fun. 10 yards out. Let's do it. Yeah, not bad. Still low, but better than before. All right, now we're just going to run the Sig just for fun. 10 yards out. Let's check that target. Even with just a fun target at 10 yards. Still shooting tighter groups with the Sig M17. That said, I think it's pretty much definitive which one is going to win the shootability portion of this. All right, let's take it back to the office and finish this video. So when I talk about the shootability portion, it's essentially how well I shoot either gun. Okay. Now, if you recall, the Springfield Echelon won the point for ergonomics because it just has better ergonomics on the gun. However, when it came down to the shootability on the range, I simply performed better with the M17. My groups were pretty much tighter through both rounds of testing. And, you know, I just performed better with the M17, which is just really interesting. So now I attribute that to the grip of the gun. So if you look at the grip, it's a wider grip. Now, because I have larger hands, one of the things that I struggle with when, you know, shooting handguns is a gun that has a small grip. The good thing about the M17, even though this is the medium grip module, it fills my hand out better than that of the Springfield Echelon. Plus, I can ride the external safety kind of like a 1911 and really bear down on the gun, and it really helps me to control the recoil and keep the gun on target. Whereas with the Echelon, even with the larger backstrap installed, this grip is still pretty small for my hands. So I can work with it, but because the grip is so small, it can be a bit, it's a bit more of a challenge to me to be as good with, you know, with the Echelon as I am with the M17. You know, so my groups were not as tight as that of the M17, as you can see from the range footage and the target. So in terms of shootability, I have to give the half point to the M17. And I did not expect that at all. I expected the Echelon to outperform the M17, but it didn't. So, but anyway, moving on from there, we're going to talk about disassembly real quick. So this is just really easy. Both guns disassemble the same way. You lock the slide to the rear, you're rotating the takedown lever down, you let the slide go home, pull the trigger, slide comes off. And the M17 is the exact same way. Just rotate it down in the down position. Let the slide go forward, take it off, remove your recoil spring and guide rod, and you can clean it at your leisure. So that's pretty much a wash as far as that. And as far as removing the modular, the actual fire control unit from the guns, it's basically the same. It's very similar. It's very similar. So as far as disassembly, I'm going to call that a wash between the two because they basically take down the same way. So if you can field strip one, you can field strip the other one. All right, so moving on to aftermarket support. So now, granted, the M17 has been out longer. So the fact of the matter is there's a lot more aftermarket support for the M17 just because it's been around longer. There are more grip options available, holster options. It's just been around, period. Now, I mean, granted, it's kind of not fair, but at the same token, it is what it is. The M17 and its parent platform, which is the P320, has simply been around longer than the Echelon. So it's going to win the aftermarket support just based on that alone. Now, I will say that the Springfield Echelon is going to gain a lot more aftermarket support as time goes on because this gun seems to be pretty hot and pretty popular. So it's going to grow, but as of right now in 2023, I have to give the aftermarket support point to the Sig M17. Which brings us to the MSRP. So the MSRP of the M17 was $649.99. So that's the MSRP of the M17. While the Springfield Echelon, according to Springfield, is $679 for the base model and $719 for the night-sighted model, which is what you see here, and $739 for the coming night-sighted model with the threaded barrel. So either way you look at it, the Sig M17 comes in under the Springfield Echelon as far as the base MSRP. So that being said, the Sig M17 is going to win the point for the MSRP. And lastly, that brings us to the last category, which is the value for the dollar. So this one is kind of difficult to judge because, I mean, honestly, when you're looking at the accessories and the feature set of both guns and you look at what they come with and what they give you out of the box, it's pretty much, I would say that it's basically on par with the price. You know, you're not getting a cheap gun in any way, shape, or form. You know, and these guns definitely are not overpriced. I mean, you're basically getting your money's worth for both. So the best way I could call this particular one is just kind of call it a wash. You know, it's just a tie for that. So no points are awarded on that. Now, if you add up all the numbers, that brings us to a grand total of 3.5 for the Sig Sauer M17 and a 3.5 for the Springfield Echelon. So it's a tie. And I didn't really expect that, to be perfectly honest. I did not expect a tie. I actually thought that the Echelon would win, mainly based on the features that you're kind of getting with the serrations and the, you know, the +3 extension with the magazine, the additional back straps, and so on and so forth. But the M17 does bring a lot to the table. Like, let's just face facts. I mean, granted, it won the MHS handgun competition. You know, granted, I know a lot of people have their opinions on that, and I kind of have my own opinions on that too. But the point of the matter is, it won, and it's been adopted, and it's been used, and is currently being used by the U.S. military. So take that for what you will. Now, if you were to talk about the standard P320, I would definitely take away that half a point for reliability, just based on the controversies and the multiple incidents of the standard P320s without the external safeties just going off at, you know, when they're not supposed to. So that's a huge reliability issue that just cannot be overlooked. So I would take away that half a point. So if we were talking about the standard P320, the win would go to the Springfield Echelon. But since we're talking about the M17, I'm just going to call it a tie. So with that being said, let's just close this video out. All right, y'all. So as you can see, there's no clear winner in this comparison, which, like I said, I was a bit surprised by that. But I mean, the long and the short of it is, they're both good guns. They're both good guns. I think a lot of people will gravitate more so to the Springfield Armory just based on the controversies of the P320 platform in and of itself, which I can understand that if people wanted to go more so towards the Springfield for that reason. But one of the other reasons, specifically as far as the red dot goes, putting a red dot on a gun is going to be a lot simpler with the Springfield Echelon versus the M17. So that's something that you want to think about when you're out there and you're shopping for your next duty or home defense or concealed carry gun. Also, now keep in mind, the aftermarket support for the Echelon isn't what it is for the M17. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to find things for if you're going to go towards the Springfield Echelon route. Whereas the M17s, P320s, whatever, is going to be a lot easier to find things for that. So because it's modular, you know, you can customize your gun and you could trick it out and you could do a lot different things with the M17 as it stands right now versus the Echelon. So just a couple things that you might want to consider when you go out there and you shop for your next gun. But anyway, I want to close it out here. I really do hope that you guys like these versus videos. You know, let me know down in the comment section. I'm going to do my best to continue to improve and make these videos more informative, more entertaining, and just better for you guys. You know, and hopefully these comparisons will help you to make your decisions as far as which gun you want to pursue between the two. So, you know, that's the whole point, right? But anyway, like I said, thank you for watching, y'all. If you like the videos, please let me know down in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get this conversation popping, y'all. What do y'all think? Which one would you choose? Would you choose the M17 or would you choose the Springfield Echelon? Let me know what you think. And as always, take care of yourselves. This is the Armchair Operator signing off.